Your top stories this evening, sponsored by Coors, bringing value home. Region 10's Mark GORING breaks his silence, says Region 10's stalemate continues. Cop's brother calls for swift justice, says his brother was the breadwinner for his family. Government moves to enforce 15-ton per axle weight limit on trucks. Faith and family. Cancer survivor VANESSA COLLYMORE shares her story. And in sport, Guyana hosts 3-day regional anti-doping workshop. HGP Nightly News begins now. Good evening to our viewers here in Guyana and online. I'm Travis Chase with the Friday, October 24 edition of the HGP Nightly News. We have what you need to know this evening. The leadership of the Region 10's Regional Democratic Council is the only local governing body yet to officially take up their respective positions as the recent elections stalemate continues. Marvin Cato is on this story.
The minister was served, the REO was served, and so they understand the legal implication of this here, and they have no other chess move, and so they were checkmate.
That was Region 10 Councillor Mark GORING, who finally broke his silence on the matter at hand in Region 10. On the 10th of October 2025, the newly sworn-in councillors of Region 10, Upper Demar, Upper Berbice, cast their ballots for chairman. The result ended in a 9-all tie between the nominee for the We Invest in Nationhood Party, WIN, Mark GORING, and the candidate of their Partnership for National Unity, APNU, Dominic Blair. Ironically, since that time, there has been no movement.
While we won the election, WIN won the election with the majority or the popular vote, the councillors, according to the laws, the 18 councillors, is who elect the chairman and the vice chairman to speak on their behalf at council.
According to GORING, the REO of the region did not continue the voting process, which is enshrined in law. Instead, he abruptly ended the process, leaving the mining region with sworn-in councillors, however, no leadership at the moment.
This government is not inclined to, follow democratic norms. They speak about it, but they don't actually practice it. They just speak about it, but they don't practice it. They do something behind.
GORING and team threatened legal action and served the Minister of Local Government and Regional Development, who GORING claimed was expected to hold a vote on Wednesday, October 22nd. However, after being served, that meeting, according to GORING, did not take place. Guyana has 10 administrative regions, all of which are statutorily functioning, except for Region 10.
We had one round of voting in which the clerk suspended the suspended the council meeting and would have indicated to the council that according to the law, the Minister of Local Government have to convene a special meeting.
It is clear that the longer this process takes to come to a conclusion, the longer WIN party member Mark GORING will be waiting in the wings. It is still unclear what the next steps are, even though the Act clearly provides in Section 26A to H that when a tie arises, the clerk must immediately declare the tied councillors as candidates for a second round, then proceed accordingly, and if still tied, a third round. There is no statutory space for deferring decision-making to a minister's casting vote or deliberation. The move by John, according to regional representatives, is not merely unusual, it may very well be unlawful.
No politician should have the power to decide who is the chairman for a region after the people would have voted and by their vote indicate who they want to be their chairman.
Marvin Cato reporting for HGP Nightly News.
Thank you, Marvin. Leader of the People's National Congress Reform, Aubrey Norton, on Friday condemned the United States military's airstrikes on small boats and semi-submersibles that the Donald Trump administration says were ferrying cocaine to the U.S. from Venezuela. More details from Antonio Day.
Leader of the People's National Congress Reform, Aubrey Norton, on Friday condemned the United States-U.S. military airstrikes on small boats and semi-submersibles that the Donald Trump administration says were ferrying cocaine to the United States from Venezuela to Colombia. The politician during his party's press conference said that the situation is of grave concern to him, and attention must be paid towards ensuring that Guyana's territorial integrity and sovereignty is protected.
There are many actors in the world It's no longer a unipolar world, it's a multipolar world. And therefore, coordination of our foreign policy at the CARICOM level is a very useful tool.
Mr. Norton noted that Ghana should be engaging with other Caribbean community counterparts on the situation as to what contingencies should be implemented.
The United States has its interests and will pursue its interests. We have our interests, we must pursue our interests. We are cognizant of the fact that we are a small nation and we do not have a lot of the tools at our disposal. And therefore, diplomacy is what is needed at this stage.
He alluded to Ghana improving its efficacy in foreign relations.
And I think there is need for a foreign minister that understands the issues in the world.
The PNCR leader is adamant that with an effective Foreign Service Department, Ghana will be able to navigate the complexities of the world and be in a great position to safeguard its territorial integrity.
There are areas in which we have strengths, there are areas in which we have weaknesses. We know we are not a military power, but we know that in Ghana there exists the brain power to engage, ensure our positions are understood, and move forward.
The administration expanded its operation to a new theater this week, striking 2 vessels in the Pacific Ocean. The Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth claimed on social media were smuggling illegal narcotics along a known route, citing unspecified intelligence. U.S. officials said that the strikes were in international waters near Colombia. Antonio Day reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
The government of Guyana is moving to strictly enforce the 15-ton per axle weight limit on trucks using the country's roadways. The measure, announced by Minister of Public Works Juan Edgel, aims to protect national infrastructure from damage caused by overloaded vehicles. This story from Tiana Cole.
Transportation wider, where there's sun, aggregate, cement, steel, whatever is the merchandise or material that you are using. We'll be testing and enforcing on the way.
The Public Works Minister emphasized that the government's action is part of efforts to protect roads and bridges from premature damage caused by overweight vehicles.
We cannot, as a country, continue to build infrastructure, roads and bridges, and shortly after have them damaged because of the indiscriminate use and carrying of excessive loads by trucks and articulated vehicles.
The minister explained that testing and sensitization exercises have already begun along several key routes, including the Suze-Dyke-Linden Highway, the Barrett-Jagdeo-Demerara River Bridge, and other major roadways and communities across the country.
Once you are caught carrying more than 15 tons per axle, you remain parked right where we get you. Until you remove the weight, then you will be prosecuted by the police.
Edgel noted that truck operators have been given notice of the new enforcement measures, and following a 48-hour testing period, full enforcement will begin.
The maximum load that will be allowed is 15 tons per axle. If persons believe that this is a joke, we will clamp the trucks. We will impound the trucks. And we will use every available mechanism under the regulations and the laws to enforce it.
Tiana Cole reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Thank you, Tiana. The Ministry of Education has announced that the BV Commoner Primary School remained closed on Friday, October 24, 2025, due to an ongoing pigeon infestation affecting the facility. Chief Education Officer Saddam Hussein, in an advisory, said the temporary closure will allow for additional cleaning, continued rehabilitation works, and the implementation of a permanent solution to the infestation problem. According to Hussein, the Ministry of Education reaffirms its commitment to ensuring that students and teachers are provided with a safe, supportive environment conducive to effective teaching and learning. He also showed that measures will be implemented to recover instructional time lost during the closure. Classes were already suspended earlier Thursday after the Parent Teachers Association decided not to allow pupils into the classrooms, citing serious health risks posed by the pigeon infestation. This is the HGP Nightly News. Stay with us. There is more news ahead. Welcome back to the HGP Nightly News. On the police blotter, the brother of a policeman who was shot and killed on Thursday is calling for justice to be served swiftly. Ron Hayes says his brother was the breadwinner for his family. As police continue their investigation into the killing of Lance Corporal Richard Marvin Hayes, the slain officer's brother, Ron Hayes, is demanding swift justice.
This is why we're looking for justice, you understand? That is a member of the police force, and my brother is a corporal, supposed to get promotion.
The businessman accused of shooting the policeman has been identified as Robert Hussein, the proprietor of a cell phone store located at the Vredenhoop Stelling. He has since been arrested, and police have seized his licensed .32 Taurus pistol. Investigators say Lance Corporal Hayes was shot after he allegedly threw a cell phone heater gun at Hussein during an argument. But the dead cop's brother believes the businessman's actions were unjustified.
Me see no reason why a licensed firearm holder supposed to take out the gun, knowing that there's a police, even if he's a normal person, he's supposed to pull his strap. Because he's not nothing serious, like nobody going for rob you. It's a confrontation with whereby you spend more money, and if something wrong with your item, I got to bring it back to let you know that something wrong.
Ron Hayes said his brother, who was attached to the impact base at the Brickdam police station, was the main provider for his family.
Man, I in the police work for like 14 years. He got a family, he got a stepson, he got his son, he got his wife he take care of.
According to the police, Hayes died from a single gunshot wound to the right side of his chest. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News. The new focus on agro-processing of plant and chip has taken center stage, with Viceroy Jordan describing the move as hypocritical on the part of the incumbent, since they frowned on this very initiative back in 2017.
The government now announcing in the whole agro-processing sector plantains and other things that they would want to venture into. I would have said a few days ago it's hypocritical.
That was Shadow Minister of Agriculture in the 12th Parliament, Viceroy Jordan, saying the coalition started such in terms of putting forward proposals for agro-processing factories in order to create jobs, to bring down the cost of food, and assist in getting our produce marketed, whether in the raw form or by agro-processing. Ironically, the government mocked them, but surprisingly, they are now willing to invest in the very initiative they mocked.
They said to us, particularly with the planting chip, that look, we're going to be sending our children to sell planting chip on the road. We're going to be putting them to do things that, belittles them.
Jordan believes former President David Granger's vision is now becoming a reality, and Guyana needs such factories as a stepping stone to create further jobs and to add more value-added products to our economy.
The government knows fully well that this economy cannot be transformed unless we have agriculture. And one of the key aspects in having agriculture is ensuring that we have things like agro-processing.
It is important to note that the Ministry of Agriculture is celebrating Agriculture Month, and during its celebration, it was revealed that the new Guyana Marketing Corporation GMC plant and chip factory located at Perica, East Bank Escobo, was operational, and an assessment of ongoing operations and avenues for expanding local agro-processing capacity was being looked at by the ministry.
Agro-processing stuff like plantain and so on, and jellies and the different jams we spoke about.
Agro-processing of plantain has been extremely successful, with a number of companies packaging and importing it to Guyana, and Guyana is now selling it on a larger scale domestically and in the diaspora, Viceroy pointed out.
An area that we can create jobs, and exactly what the Viceroy would have said, or exactly what was the position of the coalition government then, is that you will eventually transform that industry into perhaps one of the largest local markets.
Guyana is now positioning itself to capitalize on this industry, which has tremendous value-added potential. However, an argument can be made that this could have been achieved years ago and the industry would have been far advanced and money is now available. The focus would have been on expansion in every region and reducing manufacturing costs with the onset of the gas-to-energy project. Guyana is now faced with the reality of catching up with a lucrative project that can contribute significantly to our gross domestic product, GDP. Up to press time, a comment from the Minister of Agriculture was unsuccessful. Marvin Cato reporting for HGP Nightly News.
Police are investigating a fatal accident that occurred Thursday morning on the Rupert Craig Highway, which claimed the life of a motorcyclist who would have been celebrating another birthday on Saturday. Dead is 45-year-old Jomo Peters of Haslington New Scheme, East Coast Demerara. The accident, which occurred in the vicinity of Pump Road, involved Peters' motorcycle and 2 motor cars. According to police reports, Peters was proceeding east along the Rupert Craig Highway at a fast rate and was not wearing a safety helmet. While overtaking a line of traffic during the third-lane exercise, the left handlebar of his motorcycle reportedly collided with the front left side rear-view mirror of motorcar PYY 4296, which was heading west. As a result, Peters lost control of his motorcycle and subsequently collided with the left front side of motorcar PAE 9879, which was also heading west. The impact flung Peters onto the median. Emergency medical technicians were summoned to the scene and they pronounced him dead at the scene. His distraught mother, Wendy Peters, told reporters that her son would have been celebrating his 46th birthday on Saturday, October 25.
But Saturday, young come and I'm going to give you money for you buy a clothes and for put on and money that you can buy little thing, whatever you want for the boarding. This man is not getting message that don't meet an accident and die.
Police say breathalyzer tests conducted on both drivers returned negative results for alcohol, and they are both in custody.
Well, they say that they're going to see into some camera. I'm glad if I can see the footage to see what's going on to myself.
Peter's body was taken to the Memorial Gardens mortuary, where it awaits a post-mortem. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News. Stay with us. You're watching the HGP Nightly News. Thanks for staying with us here in the HGP Nightly News. We tell you now that Minister of Governance and Parliamentary Affairs, Gail Teixeira, in her remarks on United Nations Day, said that her government will continue to work with the international body in the promotion of multilateralism, climate justice, and equality. Antonio Day reports.
United Nations on Friday held its open day at the office in Kingston, Georgetown in commemoration of UN Day. Minister of Governance and Parliamentary Affairs Gail Teixeira in her feature address highlighted the ongoing global challenges with conflicts such as the Israel-Palestine border controversy. Along this context, Minister Teixeira has recommitted to joining the bandwagon of promoting peace, multilateralism, climate justice, and equality.
If you trace back through the UN records, our positions are anti-apartheid, relation to Palestine, in relation to sustainable development goals, in relation to peaceful resolution.
She stressed the importance of promoting conflict resolution regarding border controversies so that there will be stability within the global sphere.
Guyana stands very firmly with the UN on the issue of that we're opposed to unilateralism, we're for peace and security, and that we believe very strongly that if you cannot have development unless you have democracy.
Meanwhile, Jean Kamau, United Nations representative, briefly touched on the objectives of the organization.
It's a great celebration. The UN is 80, and here in Guyana, the UN is 59 years. So we have a long history with the UN, with the government of Guyana, the people of Guyana, and the UN has grown in Guyana in terms of its size, the scope of the services.
On October 24, 1945, the UN Charter became effective after being ratified by most of the states that had signed it, including the 5 permanent secretaries of the Security Council, thus formally launching the United Nations as an international organization. Gabrielle Vockel, representative of UNICEF Ghana Suriname, during an exclusive interview with Nightly News, also expressed delight at being a participant to champion the international organization's celebration.
In Guyana, really our core role is to support the government of Guyana to ensure that every child grows up healthy, educated, and protected. And for that, we have a lot of partnerships with line ministries, with the presidency, with Parliament, but also with civil society.
Meanwhile, representatives from the We Invest in Nationhood, Dr. Ryan Richards, an incoming Member of Parliament, and Leola Narang, Regional Democratic Council for Region 10, also give their thoughts on the activities facilitated by the United Nations.
We have a lot of books currently available with a lot of very fascinating, interesting information.
Leola Narang, Regional Democratic Council for Region 10, noted that given her job description, the timeliness of the event will be beneficial.
I'm from region number 10, and some of the services that are being offered here today, would like to extend it to region number 10.
Narang, who also works in the public sector, is enthusiastic about holistic development, especially in the mining town of Linden. Antonio Day reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
25 years after being diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer, VANESSA COLLYMORE credits her survival to one thing: her faith in God. Surrounded by her family and church community, her story is a powerful reminder that belief and love can overcome even the greatest challenges. Tiana Cole will tell you more.
When VANESSA COLLYMORE's journey with cancer began in 1999, she was in her 20s with 2 young children. At first, no one suspected cancer because of her age, even though she had been feeling discomfort in her breast and noticed a lump on her left arm. As the pain worsened 2 years later, she decided to get it checked.
I got a rude awakening that what we thought all along was just maybe an infection or whatever. It was now cancer, and it was bad. It was stage 4 cancer.
Following her diagnosis, COLLYMORE underwent surgery in Guyana. At the time, there were no treatment centers in the country, so she traveled to Trinidad, where she spent 8 months receiving treatment.
From then to now, there is great improvement. I must applaud the Ministry of Health. Now you can have your radiation, you can have your chemotherapy, you can have any other medication that is prescribed by your oncologist. We have oncologists right here. We have everything right here.
2 years after completing treatment, she faced a recurrence. This time, the cancer spread to her spine, causing severe back pain and difficulty breathing.
Cancer was eating out my spine. It was in my back.
Doctors told her she would not be able to travel and advised her family to take her home and make her comfortable. But COLLYMORE never gave up hope.
I never doubted if I'm going to get through it, because I know God who we serve is a very good and strong and powerful God. So I never waver in my faith like, oh my God, why me? Right? As if I'm so special, I can't be allowed to be sick, right?
Throughout her journey, COLLYMORE said her faith and the support of her family and church kept her strong.
But my immediate family and my church family, I can call on them anytime for prayer, for visit, for support, anything.
She continues to encourage others to take life one day at a time and prioritize their health and never lose sight of faith.
My focal point is God. I know that He is the ultimate.
Tiana Cole reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Thank you, Tiana, for your reporting. After being admitted to the local bar, Jayaram Ajay Sanasi reflected on his experiences and guiding principles. You'll hear more from Jada June.
Addressing the Honorable Court, Mr. Sanase began by expressing his gratitude to the court for granting his application and his presenter, Mr. Gunraj, for his support and mentorship. He characterized the occasion not merely as a professional milestone, but as a continuation of a personal journey shaped by faith, family, and the relationships cultivated along the way.
It started primarily from my secondary education when I noticed that, law is something that I wanted to do.
A central reflection guiding his outlook was a lesson from his graduation at the U Wooding Law School. Mr. Sanase attributed much of his perseverance and success to the blessings of Bhagwan. He shared that his faith served as an anchor through moments of uncertainty, providing clarity and strength in times of challenge. He emphasized that his family formed the foundation of his journey, their sacrifices, prayers, and encouragement being the cornerstone of his development. His gratitude extended to his parents, grandparents, and extended family, who nurtured his discipline and character. Mr. Sinase's educational foundation was built at Saraswati Vidya Niketan SVN, where he was taught the values of discipline, integrity, and devotion to excellence. He expressed appreciation to the SVN staff for their influence on both his academic and moral growth. His university years at the University of Guyana were marked by the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic, which limited interaction and required adaptability. He described this period as one that taught him to, and I quote, improvise, adapt, and overcome, close quote. His transition to the U Wooding Law School in Trinidad and Tobago introduced both excitement and uncertainty. Mr. Sinase credited mentors such as Mr. Gunwaj and Ms. Rhea Harris for easing this transition, and he expressed deep gratitude for their support and hospitality, which made Trinidad his, and I quote, second home.
Unlike other persons, I didn't have the privilege to rent an apartment close to law school, so I stayed approximately like 20 minutes from law school. That is provided without traffic. But for me, like when I had late classes and stuff, I would normally have to take public transportation home. So that posed, quite some challenges.
Mr. Sinase embodies humility, gratitude, and a profound sense of duty. His address and reflections demonstrate a deep understanding of the moral and ethical foundations necessary for the legal profession. He enters the practice of law with a sincere commitment to serve, uphold justice, and remain faithful to the values instilled in him by faith, family, and mentors. His journey stands as an inspiring testament to perseverance, discipline, and the power of meaningful human connections. Jada June reporting for HGP Nightly News.
Stay tuned for regional news.
Good evening and welcome to Friday's edition of the Regional News. I'm Antonio D. We begin with news in the Caribbean. Former Prime Ministers B.J. Patterson and Bruce Golding are among a group of ex-heads of government in the Caribbean who have expressed concern about the military build-up of the United States in the region, urging a pullback to avoid any undermining of peace, stability, and development in the space. In a joint statement, the former Prime Ministers said that they felt a need to make public their apprehension about the increased military security build-up and the presence of nuclear vessels and aircraft within the Caribbean archipelago, arguing that this has the potential to pull the region into conflicts that are not of its making. The other leaders are Baldwin Spencer from Antigua and Barbuda, Frondo Stewart of Barbados, Dominicus Edison James, Grenada's Tillman Thomas, Donald Ramatar of Guyana, and Kenny Anthony of St. Lucia. Colombia's president, Gustavo Petro, said on Thursday that a suspension of aid from the United States would mean nothing to his country, but that changes to military funding could have an effect. U.S. President Donald Trump threatened over the weekend to raise tariffs on Colombia and said Wednesday that all funding to the country had been halted. The Trump administration has already decertified Colombia's efforts to fight trafficking, paving the way for potential further cuts, but some U.S. military personnel remain in the country, and the two continue to share intelligence. Finally, with some international news. A U.S. strike against an alleged drug vessel killed 6 suspected narco-terrorists in the Caribbean. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said on Friday that the latest operation in the Donald Trump counter-drug campaign in the region. In a post on X, Hegseth said that this was the first strike carried out at night as part of the campaign which began in September. While Hegseth did not provide any evidence of what the vessel was carrying, he posted a roughly 20-second video which appeared to show the vessel in water before being hit by at least one projectile and exploding. Trump said on Thursday that his administration plans to brief the U.S. Congress on operations against drug cartels, and that even though he did not need a declaration of war, operations against cartels on the land would be next. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro has repeatedly alleged that the U.S. is hoping to drive him from power. Washington in August doubled its reward for information leading to Maduro's arrest to $50 million, accusing him of links to drug trafficking and criminal groups that Maduro denies. That has brought us to the end of Friday's edition of the Regional News. Thanks for watching. I'm Antonio Day. Goodbye for now and be safe.
Let's join Delwyn Neblett for HGP's Sports Pulse.
Good evening, Guyana. I'm Delwyn Neblett with your HGP TV Sports Pulse for today, Friday, October 24, 2025. Ghana will be hosting a 3-day regional anti-doping training workshop this week, organized in collaboration with the World Anti-Doping Agency and the Caribbean Regional Anti-Doping Organization. The initiative aims to enhance testing procedures and strengthen compliance standards throughout the region. Scheduled for the 24th to the 26th of October 2025, the Doping Control Officer Training Program is being coordinated locally by the Ghana Olympic Association. Leading experts from the Canadian Centre for Ethics in Sport will conduct the training sessions. Representatives from 10 Caribbean nations are expected to attend. The main goal of the workshop is to equip participants with the knowledge and skills needed to carry out sample collection accurately and professionally, in line with the World Anti-Doping Code. The timing of the training is particularly significant as Caribbean athletes and officials prepare for a busy 2026 sports calendar featuring the CAC Games in the Dominican Republic, the Commonwealth Games in Scotland, and the Youth Olympic Games in Senegal. The Ghana Olympic Association officially launched the program earlier today with an opening ceremony at the Olympic House in Liliendal. Moving into volleyball, the Port Morant Training Center, male and female volleyball teams departed Guyana on Thursday to represent the nation in a Club Goodwill Championship. The 24-member delegation competing against national under-23 squads in St. Lucia is expected to return on October 27. Male captain Devendra Lachman, female captain Renee Liverpool, and coach Levi Ned expressed confidence that the PMTC will uphold Guyana's reputation with excellence and sportsmanship. Moving into football, action resumed tonight in the Ghana Football Federation's Division 1 Women's League 2025 with 2 fixtures at the National Training Center in Providence. The first match featured Ansgrove United versus Monedalus FC, while the second match currently underway features Riversview United FC versus the Fruta Conquerors. Action also resumed tonight in the Georgetown Football Association Senior Men's League 2025 with 2 fixtures at the Police Sports Club ground Ivleri. The first match featured tabletoppers Rhythm Squad FC versus the Motherland FC, while match number 2 currently underway features Beacon FC versus Order and Discipline FC. More in football, action is set for the final day of Season 7 of the Ghana Football Federation's Elite League with 2 fixtures at the National Track and Field Center in Lenora on Saturday. The first match will feature the Namsel FC versus the Ghana Police Force FC, while in match number 2, eminent champion Slingers FC will take on the Ghana Defence Force FC. And finally, quarterfinals action in the Courts Optical Pee-wee Under-11 tournament is set for Saturday, October 25 at the Ministry of Education ground on Carifesta Avenue. Commencing at 11 hours, the first match features Tugville Primary versus Lenora Primary. Match number 2 features St. John the Baptist Primary versus St. Gabriel's Primary, while St. Pius Primary will take on Redeemer Primary in match number 3. The final quarterfinal match will feature West Ranville Primary versus Agatash Primary. That's it for this edition of the HGP TV Sports Pulse. I'm Delwyn Neblett reminding you to stay in the game.
Region 10 RDC stalemate continues. Wins Mark Gorin breaks his silence. Cop's brother calls for swift justice. Says his brother was the breadwinner for his family. Government moves to enforce 15-ton per axle weight limit on trucks. Faith and family. Cancer survivor VANESSA COLLYMORE shares her story. And in sport, Guyana hosts 3-day regional anti-doping workshop. Those are our major headlines. For these stories and more, please go to our website. It's www.hgptv.com. I'm Travis Chase. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.